Hi, welcome to MediatorPodcast.com, a podcast and video series about mediation, negotiation, and collaboration. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online valuation, divorce, and mediation services based out of St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we will discuss independent legal advice and divorce mediation with Lauren Hunt. Lauren is an attorney mediator in New York who focuses on family issues, including divorce, custody, child support, and adoption. In general, if we're trying to figure out mediation, is there a benefit to hiring a mediator and then an attorney, or like you're an attorney mediator? Like how does that work? So I come to you and I say, okay, Lauren, I think I'm going to get divorced. I've kind of told my husband we're thinking about mediation, and I come to you by myself. What would you say the next step is to include that spouse, or what would be involved?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to get to that question in just a second, but first I just want to highlight one quick thing. A lot of the times people will talk to their spouse and say, I want to pursue mediation, or I want to start heading down the path to divorce. They then start to get into some substantive issues. Maybe they're going to start talking about custody, where are the kids going to live, who's going to take the house. While I fully encourage spouses to work together and to try and have those discussions, I think that from the start, those discussions should happen in some sort of form with either a mediator or after you've both talked to an attorney. Certainly those discussions are not binding, but I have seen a lot of situations where they can either accidentally go up in flames and then you're on the path to something you didn't want to be on the path to, or people feel really bad, and so they overpromise, and then when they've gotten a little bit more information, they start to kind of back from those promises, like walk back from those promises, which then causes a lot of difficulty at that point. So in that initial discussion, try your best to keep it just focused on, I'd like to pursue mediation, or I'd like to pursue hiring attorneys to work outside of court. And let's save, if your spouse tries to get into substantive discussions, maybe your response could be something like, I want to save that until we both talk to somebody or we're with the mediator.
Yeah.
So just that little bit aside,
Yeah.
I find that to be incredibly valuable, because so many people say, I just don't want this to become heated. I just don't want this to become like, hostile. I want to stay as amicable as possible. And I think that is an amazing goal that has huge benefits for your family, for your kids, for you. It's a little less stressful. I mean, divorce is stressful. When it's not hostile, when you try to take an amicable route, it makes it just a little easier. So if the goal is, I want to find a way to do this amicably, maybe cost effectively, then your best bet is to try and keep that initial conversation focused just on, I want to move forward to divorce, and like, are you okay with the process of mediation, or at least finding a little bit more out about mediation? So that little bit aside. So back to your question. Which refresh my memory on it.
Well, but even let's continue with this though, because I think this is where people get, right? And then they're like, oh, I got to sell my spouse on mediation or collaborative divorce. No. Most mediators, and I'll speak for myself and you can speak from you. I have no problem meeting for an hour with both. And I encourage, I would, if it's on the phone, a Zoom, in person, I would encourage both people. So when I have somebody first call and they're like, I'm thinking about mediation, I would say, listen, I can tell you a whole bunch of stuff, but if I tell it to you both at the same time, you'll understand and you can ask questions and you can hear it, because some things in divorce seem like they're on one side or the other, but it's not. It's just the way things are, it's the reality. So I think in some cases, most people, not everyone, and you can make a simple call, but most people will offer to meet with you at the beginning, to explain your options, to talk about what is the best option for your family, your
Mhm.
situation with kids, without
Mhm.
kids, with money, without money, all of this stuff, right? And there really is no one size fits all. But if you find somebody, if you say, "Oh, Lauren, okay, let the practitioner talk to both of you and allow both of you to be part of the process of even deciding which option you choose," right?
Mhm. Yes, 100%. And I do the same thing. So I will always schedule if one spouse, sometimes both, call my office. I always schedule an initial meeting with them just to sort of let them get to know who I am,
Mhm.
understand my style, my approach, ask me questions about the process. We don't get into any of the substantive information.
Right.
We really just talk high level. Is this the right approach for your family? What other resources might you want to pursue for moving forward? Perhaps it's, are you two going to go to a counselor to talk through some custody issues because maybe your child has special needs, and that might be something that's easier to work with a child developmental expert rather than me. I
Mhm.
certainly can walk through those issues with you, but we can talk. We could talk about what's specific for your family, what issues are specific to your family, and how we can best make this process fit those issues. And I think that's an incredibly valuable discussion. And I think you are so right to do it with both persons because what I may say one thing and you hear it a different way and your spouse hears it a different way. And so, rather than it being the game of telephone where one spouse gets the information and then relays it to the other spouse, it's just far better right off the rip. Both hear it at the same time. So I do the same exact thing, and I think it's an excellent service or value to the couple who is moving forward.
Well, and some of the psychology, because we've both done divorce for a long time, some of the psychology is that if you start having conversations with somebody, right, with just by yourself, and then eventually you get your spouse involved, they're going to be like, wait, you already know this person? Oh,
Mhm.
is this your
You're not
friend? You're not
neutral.
neutral. And I think that that is, some of the central things that happen in divorce is communication issues. So mediation isn't just about trying to get things, there are things that come up during mediation that are difficult, right?
Absolutely.
But you have kind of a third party there to help you facilitate a better discussion about it, or to get some of that stuff up. If you got some
Right.
stuff we got to get up, you got to
Mhm.
get up. It's not therapy, but it definitely is helping people communicate their needs and wants for
Right.
the next phase, if you
And
will.
hopefully be heard,